The consensus is, on average, African Americans are West Central African with some European descent. Some also have Native American and other ancestry. According to the U.S. Census Bureau data, African immigrants generally do not self-identify as African Americans. Also, the general consensus is that there are legitimately 5 races amongst us, being white, black, or African American, American Indian, or Alaskan Native, Asian, and Native Hawaiian, or to some say Pacific Islanders. But we as FBA, born in the United States of America, descendants of slaves, why do we have an issue with those who don't self-identify as Black American? Why should they? They're not born here. Their ancestry is not tied to this place. Our ancestry is tied to this place. Although we may come from there, we are the ones that are in a situation where we have European descent, where they do not for the most parts. So why do we have diaspora wars? Who does it benefits the most? Who does it benefit at all? I've looked over this and I tried to stay away as much as possible, but I can't help but to notice that it benefits no one on behalf of Black Americans or Africans. When I look at the continent of Africa that makes up the 54 countries, one thing you would notice, when the Asians move in, when the Russians move in, when the Americans move in, the Europeans move in, they're not bickering about their differences. They're there for the resources. They're there to gain more power, to more wealth, in order that their lineage can gain from it. But when it comes to Black Americans, we're the very opposite. We let our slight differences keep us from doing something that will remove us from our oppression. And that's why I do know for a fact that these diaspora wars are not just from our own doing, but is fueled by others from the outside. This is why that you could get on Twitter Space and pick one African who disses or disrespects Black Americans and use him as the narrative. But the majority of these people have never been to Africa, and the majority of these people who are the Africans, some have never even been to Africa. They are first, second, or third generation Africans. But why would an African self-identify as a Black American? They shouldn't, because this is not the place where they're from. Their lineage is not close enough tied to slavery as ours is. So yes, it should be Black American or African American, and then African. But why does that stop us from uniting? It makes absolutely no sense. We rather hold on to a land that wasn't meant to be ours and deal with all the hatred, all the disrespect, being placed as a third place, fourth place, and now some days fifth place citizen, rather than moving along with our people where we come from and living amongst them, where we don't have to worry about racism. We don't have to worry about things being done to us because of the color of our skin. But in actuality, that skin color in a place that we're from becomes a blessing. So we have more options. We have the ability to move around, to make things happen, to network with different countries, to bring it all onto one land, one soil, and benefit ourselves from the resources. Why do we complain about the Chinese and others going to the continent of Africa and building wealth for themselves when we don't do it at all? There is no law stating that Black Americans are not able to build wealth in Africa. There's no laws against that, just like it's not with anyone else. So I don't understand the concept of hating your brothers and sisters from the continent based on what you hear on social media if you haven't been to the continent yourself. I don't grasp the behavior of my own people. We fueled the fire in order to build this so-called diaspora war instead of only focusing on those who are with us, those that we could build wealth with, those that we could build off the resources on the continent with, that we could go over, we could build farms, we could build real estate, we could build shopping malls, we could build gas stations, we could do all this. By networking with each other and taking our money there, funneling it there in order that it funnels back to here for our people who need it, those who are in a right state of mind. So in closing, I just wanted to say that our lack of wealth is what we do to ourselves. Because there is no laws stating that we can't build wealth just like everyone else does. You have so many people building generational wealth from the continent. But us, look around all the world. Take people from all races, all backgrounds, all countries. At some point, they're tied to Africa. They build wealth from the continent and its many resources, but us. And yet we sit here bickering amongst each other instead of putting it into action in order that we can build generational wealth. This is why we're still where we are. We deal with the nonsense. We focus on the nonsense. We focus on people that we say that are not with us. So why do we give them our energy? Out of billions, hundreds of millions, you're focusing on a few hundred? Your focus is on a few hundred when there are hundreds of millions that you could be working with to change the course of history. It makes absolutely no sense at all. These diaspora wars are a waste of time, waste of energy. And time is money. And that's why we lack it. Because we give our time and energy into things that can't give us anything back. So don't keep complaining about the white man this, white man that. Don't keep complaining about, oh, this African said this or this African said that. You are not doing anything with your time and energy that could change your state of oppression. So now it falls on you.